and welcome back to the TMCJ podcast. We are on segment 3, our wildcard segment, which today we have gone back to the hive of Scum and Villainy known as Twitter. I was just kind of glancing through there. We'd kind of loosely decided we were going to see if something entertaining but not too controversial was trending, but it seems to be all controversial shit. One thing I did notice just now is apparently on this day in history, in 1933, Prohibition ended. That's a happy thing.
Yeah, 1933.
After 10 years, they freed the booze.
They freed the booze. It's not like free the nipple, but
Yeah, exactly, but with a bottle.
yeah.
Yeah, the 21st Amendment to the U.S. Constitution is ratified, ending the prohibition of alcohol when Utah became the last state to ratify it. And then the hashtags, hashtag beer, hashtag wine, hashtag whiskey, hashtag history.
Oh, I wish I was getting that shit on mine.
Well, we're on the same Twitter account.
Yeah, I know, but mine's all the stupid political English shit.
I am going
And Attack on Titan.
I am going to send you this. Do not read it.
Okay.
One of the things that I have the TMCJ podcast Twitter account following.
It's a problem I often have.
When I first made the account, I figured it needed to be following something, and so I followed just some random things. Like the Onion is one of them, though, and was just hilarious. Although the Onion is having a harder and harder time creating parodies because reality seems to be stranger than anything.
Than fiction, yeah.
It's like anything they could possibly put out there. It's things that were parodies from. I'll give you an example. Like back in the early 2000s or mid 2000s, I want to say it was. The Onion put out a fake article titled. Woman takes break from being a feminist to enjoy life. And there was, and sure enough, there was a real article written in I want to say it was 2017 or 2018 that one of my friends sent me. And it was an article about this woman who, she was writing about how she had to set aside her feminist beliefs to enjoy any movies. I was like, well,
right.
It's just old Onion articles.
I go into movies sometimes being like, alright, I won't talk during the movie, even if something winds me up, I'll keep it to myself. I guess they're doing that, but with, their emotions?
I guess. I mean, that's what I think most normal people do. Like, when I'm watching a movie, especially if it's something over the top, like Boondock Saints that we just talked about, or one of the Marvel superhero movies, you have to have the willing suspension of disbelief. Like, you put it out of your mind that you are like, that would never happen, and then just enjoy it. Enjoy the pretty lights and colors.
Pardon me. Yeah, sorry, I'm being dragged in by the freaking leftist stuff again.
Yeah, we're supposed to be looking for stuff that isn't controversial.
Well, yeah, but I mean, we are I feel like we're fairly neutral. Well, we're not neutral, but on the podcast we're fairly neutral. And we discuss things for their merits and what we can see, as opposed to speculation.
Yeah, that is generally the goal.
And if we do speculate, we say this is based on our own opinions and no evidence.
And then there's always the caveat that, hey, we're just two random dudes.
We are two random dudes. We're very random.
The talk about putting aside you're like, oh, that would the willing suspension of disbelief thing reminded me of a Zero Punctuation review where he was reviewing the MMO DC Universe Online when it first came out.
Right.
And he's like, you can also choose the origin of your powers, and it either comes, and he's like, but I thought that would be the same for every superhero, the willing suspension of disbelief.
Right.
The other Twitter account that I have this account following is Today in History, which is where I saw the Prohibition thing.
Oh, it keeps coming up with Yahtzee Crucial to follow on Twitter. Shall I just hit follow on him? Because I feel like that's someone we
Oh
can
yeah,
get behind.
yeah.
Okay, cool. Go on.
Go for it. That's somebody I'm surprised I didn't think to follow him to begin with.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted you mid flow.
Mid rant. The other thing I was noticing is that Elon Musk is just sending out a bunch of movie titles. Like the most recent one is watch Demolition Man.
Yeah. So what's Demolition Man again?
Demolition Man is it's a Sylvester Stallone movie, action movie. Him and what was the other guy's name? The villain in it is so good. There's actually a few like big name actors in that movie, but I only remember him. I don't remember the names of actors generally, but he's the one that pops out. He's the main character, the title character. In fact, he is the Demolition Man.
Yeah.
General premise of the movie is that he is kind of a cop that goes a little bit overboard to stop criminals and ends up causing tons of property damage and stuff like that. Like there's a funny scene in the beginning of
Vigilante Justice. Where can we find out more about Vigilante Justice, guys?
This isn't Vigilante Justice. He's an actual police officer. He just doesn't care about property damage when he's trying to help people and catch the criminals. So like there's a scene in the beginning of the movie where like a news lady is like sticking a microphone in his face. He's like singed and he's carrying like a little girl away from like a completely totaled mall. And she's like, how can you justify doing like, $18 million of property damage just to save one person? And the little girl that he's carrying away just turns to the lady. She's like, fuck you, lady. It was, but that kind of epitomizes his character in the movie. Anyway, he finally goes too far and ends up getting arrested and sentenced and stuff. And the central premise to the movie is that they start a new experimental prison thing where they're not putting them in jail, they put them in cryogenic sleep, and while they're in cryogenic sleep they use suggestion, right, to try and mentally correct them, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, that happens to him, and then it fast forwards to like 20 or 30 years in the future or so on, and the main criminal, the main villain that this guy is after a lot in the movie, he wakes up and he starts causing chaos. And because things have changed so much, like the future is everyone, like no one's aggressive, no one swears, like people rely on they're not equipped essentially to deal with that caliber of criminal from back in the 80s. And so they end up waking up the Demolition Man so that he can help them take down this other criminal.
Yeah.
And that's the plot of the movie, and then it just continues on him chasing this criminal, and then there's other subplots and things. But it's an excellent action movie. Very simple, straightforward, really fun to watch.
Cool. Well, I've got a light-hearted another topic if you're ready.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. First of all, who the hell names their child Saint? All right. Not even my ego is that big, and that is saying things. Kim Kardashian is currently trending with the trending tag of My5, which is one of her children called Saint turned 5 today, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
And she's interviewing her kids every year, the same questions, so that when they're older, she can tell them what they said when they were young.
That is honestly one of the most wholesome things I think I've ever heard come out of Twitter.
Really?
I really like that. That's an adorable idea.
It is, but normally people do it like photos and stuff, not like an essay.
Well, no, but think about it though, because it's like taking home movies. It's along the same line. Like you're back when video cameras weren't as ubiquitous as now. You'd only record maybe once or twice a year, and it'd be like Christmas, and you'd be recording your kids like opening presents, and they'd and then you'd maybe years later you'd watch back home movies and be like, oh, look, look how cute you were, look how excited you were that you got this bike or something like that. And I think it's the same sort of idea. It's like, what do you want to be when you grow up, and that sort of thing. And so when they're older, they can kind of have that moment of nostalgia and like, look, when you were 5 years old, you wanted to be an astronaut, and now you want to be an MMA fighter or something. It just,
yeah,
I think it's kind of just.
I'm curious what the questions are, because you don't actually
that's
tell us what they are.
True. If the questions are what I'm thinking, like kind of just cute and wholesome and something that they can look back to with fond nostalgia, then okay. Yeah. But if the questions are like, what's the square root of pi? And then they're like, what?
Yeah, not nonsensical.
Yeah, it'd be. I think that's a cool idea. I may actually. That might be a. If I ever have kids, I think that might be something I'd consider doing as just like a family tradition. Just like look back and watch it, because I like whenever I find something I wrote or something I did from when I was much younger, I'm like, oh, it kind of gives me a peek into what my thinking was like.
Yeah.
Oh, excuse me.
I'm sorry. I'm still trying to find out what the questions are. Someone asked, and I like in the like replies. And theirs is the only question that does not have a heart next to it. So I'm guessing that was like a big old no.
Just like you're not going to hear these questions.
They're
private, they're proprietary questions.
Yeah. God, who calls their child Saint? It's a very celebrity thing, isn't it, to call your child something
they're
extravagant.
Yeah, there are some weird names out there. Although I will say, there is some ego to it. My friend Juan named his first son after the first emperor of Rome.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, wait, what is it?
So, the first emperor was Augustus Caesar, or before he took the name Augustus, it was Octavian Augustus Caesar. So
he's Buck Tavy.
Yeah, he named his kid Octavian. Which there's a certain amount of ego there.
Yeah, a little bit. But Tavy is, I don't know. Tavy is cute if you keep it. I mean, I don't know. Having to say the full thing is maybe a bit.
Well, yeah, I think that's probably why they abbreviated it. But
yeah. There's another person who's had their 5-year-old help them make card art, which is like they got them to draw little like dragony things, which is pretty adorable. That's cute. Man.
Some of the things that come out of the Onion are just amazing.
Yeah.
This is the headline. "You are the jewel of my collection," says Saudi prince while guiding frightened Jared Kushner towards his harem. I don't know. And they have a picture to go along with it that just, I don't know, made me chuckle.
Yeah.
This is what happened the last time we did one of these Twitter segments. It just quickly degraded to you and I both separately browsing Twitter and then occasionally going, "Oh, look, that looks kind of cool."
Yeah, pretty much. It's basically shit posting. I have been watching a lot of the Yogscast live streams.
Right,
last week.
Yeah, I've been talking about it. I've never really watched them or know anything about them, really.
No, it's something that I think there's a couple streams that they do over the Christmas period that will appeal to everyone, like the karaoke streams. I think everyone kind of enjoys that. But for the most part, you kind of got to have watched them a lot to enjoy most of it. Because a lot of the stuff they do is just really dumb.
Yeah.
But it's the people that you're there for, really, as opposed to the content.
That's what it used to be like for me for watching like Achievement Hunter and Rooster Teeth. Like anything under that umbrella. Achievement Hunter and Rooster Teeth were the ones I used to follow, and it was for the people. Like, I like watching their podcast. I liked it, especially on Achievement Hunter, when they do like the game activities and do like the stupid shenanigans where they're pranking each other at the office and stuff like that. That entertained me.
They've fallen on rough times.
They've kind of, things have gotten rough over there. I haven't really been following them much lately.
No.
Because I don't know, it just they lost a few really good people that I enjoyed watching. And then a few of the other ones, like the longtime people that had been around since the Red versus Blue days, they were kind of taking a back seat and being less like in front of the camera, which is fine. You hit a point in your career where you want to be less of a personality and be more of a, at the high end, you get to do like creative writing and strategic planning and stuff like that. Maybe I can understand why they did it, but I thought it was a loss in terms of the entertainment value, because those people were still fun to watch.
I believe there was some controversy about which meant people had to leave.
I heard that too. I don't know if that was ever confirmed, though. I thought that was a rumor.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But as with everything on the internet, things don't have to be confirmed to be true in the internet's eyes. So a lot of people stopped watching, I mean, because of rumors, whether they were true or not. But no, sorry. Positive. Yogscast.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go on.
Yeah. They made $1 million in the start of the second day of the charity live streams for Christmas. So they do this every year. They start on the 1st of December and end on the 30th. Just raising money for certain charities, and you can also like donate to your charity of choice as well as an option. And if you spend upwards of, I think it's £25 this year, might be $25, I'm not sure. Then you get a bundle of games from the Humble Bundle. That's like 45 games, I think it is, this year.
Holy crap.
And there are some really cool games in there. This does sound like an advert, but it's an advert for charity, so I feel kind of less bad about it.
Yeah. That's always... There's one charity stream that I used to watch quite a bit, was the Games Done Quick. It was like the speedrunning charity stream that happens every year.
Yeah, I remember.
Those tend to be pretty entertaining, but they've gotten in recent years a little bit more sanitized and corporatized. There's less fun in it now, and it's more just it's more dry and professional. So I haven't really watched it in the last year or so.
Yeah, every year with the Yogscast, more people, because there's a lot of them. Some people are gone, and some people are new every single year, and so it's never quite the same. But they've generally solidified what they do each year now, which does make it a little bit dry. And
it's not as much of a shit show.
Yeah, they also have kind of they used to make really good like music videos, basically.
Yeah,
or at least they made a couple of really good ones. And this year's, I listened to it and I just thought, oh god, that's awful. They didn't have an animator in house this year either, so they didn't really have visuals for either.
I feel like that's the way that the whole YouTube Rewind thing that they do every year, right?
Yeah, everyone always hates.
Well,
yeah.
They didn't used to. That's the thing. Ever since I think the 2017, 2018, and 2019 ones were all like, those were hated. The 2018 one, because it had nothing to do with what was actually on YouTube. The 2019 one was, they basically just didn't even try. They just did it like a top 10 video, which was received better than the previous ones.
Ooh. I do remember them sending out some kind of message saying like, you know better than us, clearly, so this is what you get instead.
Yep. But,
yeah.
Oh god. Yeah, I feel like there's, with a lot of different things like that, entertainment companies or entertainment groups, there's a point where they get big enough that they sort of feel obligated to dry out and become more corporate. and be a little bit less entertaining.
Which is what they are at the end of the day. They're a corporation. They're there to make money. But it's always nice to see when a company listens to its followers.
Audience. Yeah.
Unless that's Twitter, because its followers are quite often dumbasses. No, I'm kidding. I love people.
There was, speaking actually along the line of this subject, something that I've been thinking about, and I know we've talked about just shop talk on the podcast before. Sorry, shop talk about the podcast on the podcast was what I was trying to say. I've been thinking, like, right now we're on Twitter as our only social media account. We publish to YouTube, Spotify, Google, iTunes, and a couple other minor podcasting sites.
Yep.
I'm wondering if maybe we want to add more social media to it, because...
Thing is, I'm not keeping up with the Twitter as the last week's been hectic as heck.
Yeah. I mean, believe me, it's the end of the year at work. I like barely have time to breathe during the week.
Yeah. I've still got 2 sessions of XP for D&D to write up by tomorrow.
Oh my god.
That's like 2 hours out of my day.
Oh, well, you gotta do it.
Yeah, I've been a mess this week though. Like I said, I slept for like 17 hours yesterday.
And then you didn't sleep last night.
Yeah, so I've been up now for about over 24 hours, I think it is now. Yeah, just goes to show I'm not someone to take life choices off of, but
or sleep schedules, apparently.
Definitely not sleep. I've had there've been so many things in my life where I've had to be awake during the night that now I'm so ingrained with being awake overnight.
Yeah, I imagine you would be an amazing case study for somebody who's looking into, like, differences in circadian rhythms. Like,
yeah. I think that's part of the reason why I slept so long for the 17 odd hours. Also, I only woke up from that 17 hours because someone knocked on my door. I think literally I probably would have woken up at one point and thought, it's sunny, I need to go back to bed still. And so I was automatically shut off again. It's kind of mad. You'd think the light would keep me awake, but it sends me to sleep. Yeah. That's something I need to fix.
To be fair, though, this is something that confuses a lot of people when I talk about it, or weirds them out, I guess. I find I'm much more alert, awake, and active on, like, overcast, like, cloudy or rainy days. Like, a lot of people, those are the days that they want to, like, just lay around in bed, take a nap, keep the lights off, and maybe watch a movie or something like that. Those are the days I want to get up and do something. Like, here right now, it's completely overcast, it's a downpour outside, and I'm feeling awake and alert. I'm looking forward to having, like, my day.
Lifting weights in the background.
Well, after this podcast, that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to lift weights and then do some chores around the house. But
nice.
That's the thing, is I feel much more alert and active when it's sunny out. I just want to be like, oh, go the fuck away.
Yeah.
I am so much less productive when it's, like, bright and sunny.
Yeah. Now I'm thinking. I know my body is tired, but I don't want to go to sleep right now.
Well, that's the other thing too.
Problem is, yeah. Actually, what am I gonna do tomorrow? I've got to be up at 6 p.m. So theoretically, if I sleep a maximum of 12 hours, I don't have to go to bed until 6 a.m. But I'm not gonna be able to stay awake till that long. Hell no.
That's another what time is it?
15 hours from now.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's 3 o'clock over there right now, right?
So yeah, basically I'm screwed.
It is interesting.
I'll just another few more hours if I'm going to be up at the right time to be. Yeah, God, don't try and work night shifts. Is my advice to everyone out there.
Oh, I had to do it a few times. My first job out of college, just like on a like from one day to another, they shifted me from a day shift to a night shift for 2 weeks. I was miserable.
Mm.
And then I had to go right back to the day shift after that.
Yeah, I've been doing it for about 4 years.
Yeah, I do not envy you.
Also, yeah, because of the time difference between here and you guys over there, it's I've always been like 5 hours ahead of everyone in the UK anyway.
Right, yeah, because you have so much interaction with us from the US that, and then you've got people like what is it, Adam and Mass, who are out an hour even further. Yeah, because they're in the Midwest.
Well, yeah, Adam's 2 hours.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I forgot he moved.
Mass is 1.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's the same thing with my my family that lives out there. I got a family that lives in Colorado, Nebraska, Iowa. They're all hours ahead.
Mm. But yeah, no, Yi got on shortly before you joined the channel. Yeah, and he was like, he was like, dude, you need to get help.
Yeah.
And while he ate his, his Rice Krispies and protein powder. Sorry for giving away your secrets, Yi.
No, now everyone's gonna get as swole as he is.
Oh my god. I wish I was as swole as Yi was. Is. Yes, I was.
Was, yeah, he's dead now.
No, just fat. No. I'm kidding, Yi. Please don't kill me.
What are we even talking about now?
I don't know.
Let's find something. Let's find something fun and interesting to end us off with, and then we'll close out this fucking shit show of a podcast.
It is a bit of a shit show.
We should think of something special to do for next podcast, though. It's episode 20. It's our
special. Okay. Well, that's gonna be. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Well, let's speculate on what we could do special for the next podcast.
Only for episode 20.
Yeah.
Something is numerically themed or
numerically themed. What's 20 based related?
Fuck.
There's nothing relating to
there
20s.
really isn't. It's like the lesser sibling. Sibling to episode 10.
Becoming an adult. That sounds really boring.
Well, in Japan, in the US, it happens at 18.
Well, that's all right. As far as I'm concerned, whilst you're still at 19, you're a teenager.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned, so I think 20 is when you become an adult.
That is something interesting, though. Is like the age that adulthood is kind of considered to have happened in different eras and in different cultures.
I mean, people say you're an adult at 18 here because you can vote and you can drink.
Yeah. Like here, you can smoke and you can vote. You can't drink till 21, but...
Yeah. It's really a point of view thing.
Yeah, and I
think maturity is different to whether you're an adult or a teenager.
Oh yeah, there are people in their late 20s that I honestly would not trust to be able to walk out on the street on their own. Like,
poor Jesse. I'm kidding.
Jesse's one of those people who he's been like an old man ever since he was 19. Like, yeah. I've known him since my freshman year in college, and yeah, he's always been like the older, responsible one, which ended up coming in useful a few times. One of my old roommates, Juan, accidentally stabbed him with a katana, and Jesse had a first aid kit right there.
Yeah, that's the sign of someone who's had a child.
That was a fun birthday. Well, no, this was when we were in college still.
Oh right, yeah.
What I'm saying is, yeah, he's been that same old man ever since back in the day.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think you're ever going to reach that point, mate.
No, I've kind of come to terms.
I don't have a first aid kit, but I've got a shotgun.
I can put him in the other direction.
Amputate it, yeah.
I mean, I've kind of accepted that fact that, like, I'm always going to be childish at heart, which I'm okay with. Like, I take important things seriously, and when I don't need to be serious and, like, on the ball, I can act silly and like a child and still enjoy myself in that way. Do things that, like, amuse me, like say Naruto in the middle of a important cutscene.
I was gonna say, for episode 20, we could do a rundown of 2020, but then I was like, wait, it's a shit year. It's probably not
let's go with that. That's what we can do. One of our topics next week has got to be anything positive that happened in 2020.
We'll see if we can. Short episode.
We'll see if we can find 20 things that happened in 2020 that were positive. Because I don't think there are 20 of them, but they might exist.
Maybe.
We'll have to hunt them down. Maybe that'll be our segment 3. That'll be a sneak preview for next time.
If there's 20 things for segment 3, you realize that has to be like less than a minute and a half. Wait, yeah. There had to be a minute and a half each.
I mean, we've gone over by quite a bit before. I'm not too concerned about it.
Okay.
We can give it a whole 2 minutes a thing. Then we get 40
That's why when I'm making the quizzes, I keep it to 15, because I'm like, well, then we get 2 minutes to discuss each thing. And we still run over by like 10 minutes each time.
Yeah. Although I did watch back the quiz segment from this time. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I do love the quizzes.
Anyway. Let's close it out there.
Yes.
All right. This has been the TMCJ podcast. We are at the end of episode 19. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and we hope that you'll tune in again next week when we try to do something relevant for episode 20.
Have a splendid week.